Hello, welcome to another Ken 7 podcast on the morning after Liverpool beat Cardiff in the FA Cup 3-1. Joining me to have a chat through the game is internet and viral sensation, Scott Elliott. Scott, how are you doing, mate?
Morning, Gav. How are you?
I'm very well, mate. I'm very well. There's loads of stuff I want to ask you, but let's just get into the game in general. And then obviously I'll chat to you about the other stuff, a little bit later. So, we're playing Cardiff FA Cup. When the team lineup came in, it didn't surprise me that it was as strong as it was, considering who was available. Did you feel like that when you got to the ground?
It's a very strong lineup, but everyone's virtually back fit now, aren't they? And when everyone's fit, we've got a brilliant, brilliant squad. You're looking at people like Thiago on the bench. It's so strong. Obviously, Diaz and Harvey and a few youngsters. Yeah, and you still got Fab missing and Joe to come back in there.
Yeah, obviously Joel Matip was left out for Ibu, and he brought Tsimikas in for Robertson. That surprised me, that move, because I thought, well, obviously we've got this big game on against Leicester on Thursday in the league. It's must win, as every game is. I thought the sort of mainstay back four would have played, including Robertson, including Matip. What was your reading of that? Do you think? I mean, that they haven't got knocks, obviously, because the Robertson came on. Did you just think that it was a case of he was trying to manage the players through the next series of games?
Look, with the selection, like I say, I know Robbo's, you can say he's your number one, but I've actually been really impressed, as a Liverpool fan. Tsimikas has done so well, and I actually don't think there's a big drop off with that. So when Robbo got the red card against Spurs, Tsimikas come in and you're not actually going, oh God, do you know what I mean? Tsimikas come in and you trust him, and he's done well when he's come in. And with Ibu, he needs games, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He's 22 years old. He's still adjusting probably to the Premier League football and English football. And he needs these games to get better. So it's just a win-win for me.
No, I agree with you. But it does worry me slightly, unless there's something. Was Joel Matip on the bench?
I don't think he was, but you shouldn't be worried.
It just worries me that Joel will have had like 3 weeks without a game. He doesn't play for Cameroon, so that concerns me a little bit going into a big game on Thursday. I mean, Leicester were really poor by all accounts yesterday, so that's another issue. But it just concerned me that he wasn't getting a game on yesterday.
I don't think it should concern you, because if you look at the last few years, Joel's had a little history of a few little niggles and knocks here and there, and he'd play for 4 weeks and then miss 2 or 3 weeks and then come back in for 4 weeks. And he's done all right, hasn't he? He's done well.
He picks it quite well.
So actually, and you think this year, he doesn't seem to have had too many injuries. He seems to have been fit the whole year. So, just missing 3 or 4 weeks is sort of what we've had, I think, over the last sort of few years.
Yeah.
And we've coped. There's a few games this year before his injury where you could argue he was man of the match for me. 100%. I thought he's been outstanding this year. So I'm not worried about that at all.
The first half went as expected for me. I knew it was going to be tough, that first half. I knew that we would be a little bit bitty, we wouldn't be full flowing. Cardiff were going to sit deep. Did that surprise you at all, or is that how you saw the game going? Was it more us than them, or do we need to give credit to Cardiff?
Yeah, I think we need to give credit to Cardiff. Look, they're not going to come here and go 4-3-3 all-out attack, right? They've got to do what they've got to do that suits them to give them the best advantage to get at Liverpool. They started with a 5-4-1, and it was very much like that. Every man behind the ball at times, and you can understand that. They're trying to keep it 0-0 as long as possible. I just thought in the first half we just didn't move the ball quick enough. It was 4 or 5 touches rather than 1 and 2, and it wasn't direct enough. And we'd get to certain areas and we'd just play it a little bit safe rather than being a bit more adventurous. Diogo probably, I think I recall, he was our only shot on target really in the first half. And it was amazing football to get that shot away. albeit he'd probably be disappointed he didn't score after creating that chance with such wonderful feet and that. But yeah, I think Cardiff, look, they're always going to sit deep, and it's one of them games where you just need to get the first goal and then the game opens up just a little bit and then you're okay.
It's the ways to play against Liverpool, isn't it? You know, frustrate us and then basically hope, because we will always give you a one-on-one situation at some stage. You know, we're liable to do that. We only have to lose it in midfield and then you're in, aren't we? And that's why it's so, you know, it's so important that we don't concede possession in midfield, because we're vulnerable. The two big incidents in the first half, the penalty and the Kelleher possible sending off. I don't know whether you've had a chance to see him back now, but what did you think about the penalty? Because to be honest with you, it looked like a pen to me.
On the Cardiff player, from Ibu.
Yeah.
I've got to say, I thought he played for it. It was embarrassing. If that's Harvey, I'm absolutely swearing at him when he gets home, because I don't like the diving, don't like cheating. And I thought, what I couldn't understand was Ibu just committed and he rolled Ibu, got goal side of him. And that's where Ibu's just got to just hold his ground, because he's not going to lose a battle. He's going to win virtually every one because of his sheer size and strength and pace. And he got goal side. And for me, he's a yard clear of him.
Right.
So he can get a shot or a crossing and go for it. I don't know why. He's deliberately, if you watch him from the back angle, he's deliberately just stepped across the front of Ibu and gone down waiting for that contact. And for me, like, I don't understand why players do it. Honestly, well, I do know why they do it, but I just don't get it. I hate it.
Well, I think you're being a bit harsh on the lad there, because I think, what else is he supposed to do? It's Cardiff against Liverpool. He's going to step across the player. Isn't that intelligent football, though? Isn't that the right thing to do in that situation? Try and get a penalty.
No, well, you're trying to get a penalty. So
yeah, but he's brought him down and he's done it by stepping across him. He's not done anything illegal, and ethically, I don't even think morally that's not wrong to do that.
For me, that he shouldn't be going down, mate. I think he's gone down cheaply. He's trying to win a penalty, which is what you're saying. Your thought when you get in the box, try and get a shot away, try and create a chance.
But right? if you go across the plate, you step across the player for him to hit you and bring you down. That's a pen at the end of the day.
But the player hasn't done nothing wrong. Ibu hasn't broken stride. He hasn't put a challenge in. He's just trying to get back. He's come across. But I know what you're saying. You can say that's a foul. That's fine. He's come across to win the foul, right? But is that not simulating cheating a little bit to a certain extent if you're looking at it? And if you're coming across, why is your first thought, you've got past your man, I can get a shot away here? If you look at him, he's 12, 13 yards away from goal. He can get any shot in. He could potentially get a cross in. He's past his man. Why does he want to try and win a penalty when he's already passed him? He's done the hard work.
But if you look, he's a right-footed player. But maybe he was. If you give him the benefit of the doubt and say wasn't going to trying to win a penalty, his move is to go right anyway, to get to shape for his right foot to have a shot. So if he gets brought down and he's not allowed to have a shot, then do you get what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do get that, and I see it from both sides, and you're taught to cut across the player at an early age, and I do get all that. For me, though, there's no challenge from the defender. He hasn't stuck a leg out to win the ball and mistimed it. He hasn't tried to clip his leg. He's done absolutely nothing wrong. So maybe when we're looking at penalties, you've got to look at what the defender's doing and what the challenge is, rather than what the attacking player is doing. Yeah. Okay. Right? Because the attacking player, for me, is always looking for a pen, where you've got to look at the defender. Has he made a challenge? Has he caught him a little bit late? If he's done that, that's fine. But if he's just running in a straight line to try and get back goal side and the player comes across him, has the defender done anything wrong? No. Okay. So for me, it's not a penalty. No, I'm not having it.
Okay. Kelleher sending off. Have you seen that one back?
I have.
What do you think?
Look, Ibu's
back covering.
It's 100% a foul.
Yeah.
I think the big thing there is, for me, is that the striker hasn't made contact with the ball. Right? If he makes contact with the ball, Ibu is behind Queeve, but if he's making contact with the ball, he's going out left, right? So he's going away from Ibu because Ibu's behind the keeper. If he then gets a shot at an empty net from 25 yards with his left foot, doesn't he? If he wants that. If he doesn't want to beat Canate. So I don't know. Look, it was a foul. If it was a red card, I don't think anyone could argue.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't, I don't think anyone can argue. It's one of them ones where you go, do you know what? It is what it is, but it could go both ways.
Yeah.
And you could say we got maybe a little bit fortunate with it, maybe.
Yeah.
But for me, yeah, it could have been a red.
Yeah. Okay. Jota, you mentioned him before. Scored another great goal yesterday. Fantastic delivery, and the way he finds space in the box is the most impressive, as well as his finishing, obviously. What did you think of his all-round game yesterday, and including the goal?
I thought he'd done all right. Yeah, I mean, he's a good player, Thiago. His goal scoring record's just out of this world, isn't it? He just seems to look like he's going to score. I watched a replay back, actually, and it was interesting because the ball's come over and the defender's actually ducked his head right down and the ball's gone over his head for Thiago to score. And I was just wondering what the defender, whether he closed his eyes or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was a sensational header, wasn't it? Right in the corner. I mean, his movement, he comes alive. You see certain bits and you're just like, wow, with Thiago. It's just out of the blue. He's like, he doesn't have to have the best game, but he's always a threat. He always looks like he might score. But a couple of times, personally, I wish he was a little bit more aware sometimes of what's around him. But I suppose we're used to that with someone like Bobby. Bobby's very, very aware of what's going on around.
To his detriment sometimes. Do you know what I mean? You'd like him to be a bit more selfish, Bobby, sometimes, wouldn't you?
Yeah. There's times when you do, and then it's a strength and a weakness, isn't it? You can say it's a weakness, but the strength is that sometimes he pulls off these passes. You know, for example, like the one with Taki's goal the other week. Bobby could have scored. He's just tapped it back to Taki and he's tapped it in, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And he's just like, Bobby's about the team.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way because all the players are about the team, but Thiago's a bit more direct.
They're two different players, and I think that gives us an interesting dynamic as well. Yeah. So we've got to, obviously, Jota scored, 58 minutes. Harvey comes back on the pitch.
Sorry, just going back to Thiago. That song's unbelievable. I can't get it out of my head.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it?
It's clicky and it's in my head, and I just can't. I'm walking around the house singing it.
It's an old song that's been rehashed, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's a great song. It's just got a little catchy bit to it that you just keeps you coming back. I mean, I can't wait for that Inter Milan European night on the top.
Amazing. Yeah. It'd be amazing. If you're enjoying this video so far, please show your support for the Ken7 channel by clicking the subscribe button, the like button, and also clicking the bell for future notifications. If you could also share the video on your Twitter and Facebook account, that will show YouTube's algorithm that you like our content. Do you know about Ken7 merchandise? The link is in the description of this video. We have premium fanwear for fans covering Liverpool, Celtic and Scotland, and it's fanwear for young and old, so we have t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, caps, mugs, you name it, we've got it. Just something else to remember, every purchase that is made on our website, we donate to the Marina Dalglish Appeal, so you're helping a great cause as well. Yeah, 58 minutes, Harvey comes on the pitch. Talk me through your feelings, you personally.
Proud, very, very proud. Obviously, I always thought it'd come on. I didn't think it would be on sort of 58 minutes. Thought it would be on sort of 70, maybe 65. Yeah, a few minutes later. Very proud. You know, he's worked so hard and what he's put in. I was just so quite emotional for him. I know how much it meant to him to run back out on that pitch in front of them fans, and he's one of them. You know, he loves the club, and yeah, it was just a very emotional day, very draining. Actually, really? It was tiring. You get home and you're like,
yeah,
unbelievable, and just so pleased he came through
it. I don't know whether it's difficult for me to, probably difficult for you to answer this, but for me, he changed the game when he came on. His energy, the how direct his passing was, which it always is. He can see a pass and he can execute it. It's two different things, but he can certainly do that. I thought the team got energized from just him being on the pitch and from his contribution. I think it was absolutely fantastic. Stepping away from being his dad, is that how you saw it as well?
Yeah, I did. I mean, look, it's one of them games where obviously Diaz comes on as well, so the whole crowd's lifted, right? Harvey's coming back. You got a new signing, got a great reception, and they've both come on, so the crowd is naturally going to lift and get a bit of a buzz because everyone wants to see exciting young players and new players at the club. So I think that naturally got it going a little bit. I mean, I'll be honest, I spoke to Harvey. Two things I spoke to him about as soon as he got in the car was there was one where I thought Thiago moved to right wing. Harvey was right centre midfield and Cardiff broke down the left. They had a 2-on-1 with Trent. Thiago got back and just flicked it away from the defender for a corner. And I thought Harvey should have done that. Right. And I might be wrong, but I've pulled him up saying, you've got to work harder. You've got to make sure you do that job, to keep him on his toes. And then the other one with Taki's goal. I said, look at the difference, Taki. As soon as that ball's been cut back, Taki's alive. Harvey's sitting on, probably in his own mind had a picture. But I'm saying, you've got to be bursting into the box. So I pulled him on them two things rather than anything else.
Right. Diaz, let's talk about Diaz's performance because he came on at the same time as Harvey. Like you say, got a great reception. What did you see in that little cameo of half an hour that made you thought, we've got something interesting here. He's going to really add to that forward line.
Footwork. Footwork and the work rate, you could see that he was working. He lost the ball and he was chasing to win it back. Whether you get there or not is irrelevant, but he's trying to get there. The intent's there. So from that South American Suarez, niggly, not give you a second on the ball, I saw straight away. But I thought the footwork for the second goal was just out of this world.
Phenomenal.
He was virtually on the touchline. The fact that he hunted down, he won that ball back, he kept it in, and the skill, just left foot and right foot, and the way he cut it back, that was a moment. Well, I was like, well, it weren't about the goal, it was about that for me. I was just like, that's unbelievable feat. And you got to remember, he's going to need time. We're not going to see the best of him maybe till next season. And it's quite a frightening prospect, isn't it?
Of course.
How good he is. But I liked his work rate off the ball.
Okay. Harvey's goal, thought me through. Obviously, there's been if people watching this haven't seen it, there's been a video of Scott from behind getting upset, which, any father would. I mean, what can you describe your feelings when that went? I mean, first of all, it's a fucking great goal. He's turned on the volley and smashed it. So, I mean, Liverpool have scored, you'd be up anyway. But then for that to be your boy, I mean, I try and just put into words what that meant to you and how that felt.
Yeah, it's something we've always dreamt about, and I'm sure Harvey, as I have, from when he was, very, very young, even practicing the Garden pre-academy, because he's always been a Liverpool fan, score in front of the Kop. Could you imagine that? One in how many million chance of living that dream? It's hard to put into words the actual feeling, I suppose, because it's a bit of a blur. It happens so quick, It's, what he's doing is instinctive. You're not thinking about where you're putting it. It's turn and technique and instinctive, right? So, I mean, when the goal went in, obviously I see the ball came down. And as the defender slipped, he's obviously controlled it, which was a great first touch. And the way he swiveled and hit it, and to be fair, it was obviously less than a second. The ball's just nestled in the net. My first reaction then, for a second, is to look at the linesman.
VAR.
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking at the linesman, see if he's got his flag up. And he hasn't. I've gone back bars, and even where we were, you could see that passion and his face, you could just see how much it meant to him. And what he was feeling was what I was feeling in the stands, and the emotion. And people don't realise how not draining, that's the wrong word, but how tough the last 5 months has been.
So let me just ask you about that, because you haven't wanted to discuss it with me. I've on few occasions said, how are you? You know, how are you, Scott? Are you all right? Because obviously everyone's concerned about Harvey, but are you okay? And you've always said to me, it's not about me, it's about Harvey, and I'll get my head around it later. Now that thing has happened and he's come back, and by the way, he rode a very, very hard challenge at one point in the game as well, and I winced. Did you? Yeah.
I didn't, but his mum did.
Yeah, totally. I bet you Jay was. Yeah, you wouldn't want to go through all that again. So now that what's happened is he's come back and he's scored and he's played and everything's happened. I mean, was that your emotional response? Was that all that coming out, do you think?
I think so, yeah. Because the moment that Liverpool and all the staff, like Harvey mentioned yesterday, Joe Lewis and Chris and Jim the doctor and just everybody has been top class, right? Top class. I can't thank them enough. You know, yeah, I could go on all day, talk about individuals that collectively they've just been absolutely out of this world. And yeah, I was down the tunnel the time Harvey came through the tunnel at Leeds, and that Sunday was the most emotional day ever. And with Harvey, with tears and the emotion, and I felt it as well. And I wanted to cry with him, but I couldn't because I had to stay strong for him.
Yeah.
And then we went through the hospital, you know, and yeah, it was a real. There was proud moments in there, like when he just off the top of his head just give that boy the shirt and started talking to him to give him a lift and hold him not to worry and everything will be okay. And that was so proud, honestly. And then we had the Monday, which was very emotional as well. And I think the severity of the injury sort of kicked in a bit more.
Yeah.
And what it meant. And then we travelled to London together and we had we had some real heart-to-heart conversations on the way down. And then on the Tuesday, he had his operation. But before he went in for his operation, the last thing I said to him was, do you know what? No point crying over spilt milk. What's done is done. You can't be negative about anything. You have to be positive. We take one day at a time, but every day is a step closer to coming back.
It's good advice.
Right. We did that. And we're talking about Pascal and the challenge and stuff like that. And it wasn't a malicious tackle. It was just a freak accident. And I said, the first thing you do after the operation, or first thing you do, sorry, when you get a chance, message Pascal and tell him if he needs anything, we're here as a family to support him.
Oh.
And I messaged him privately as well. So we didn't want him to feel bad. And then we had the operation and we came back on the Wednesday. Sorry, we came back on the Wednesday, and on the Thursday, Liverpool got him into Kirby. They all looked after him. That gave him a big lift. And from there, you know, and I can honestly say this, Gav, I've never had one negative word from him. I've never heard it. He's just been like, right, I'm doing that. And then we were told 6 months, roughly, which took us to the middle of March. And it was a bit like when he broke his collarbone, you know, that was 6 weeks. And we come out as doctors and he said, fuck that, I'm back in 4. and this was the same.
Yeah.
And we said, do you know what? Let's just take it easy. It is what it is. It's about getting it right, not how quick you come back, right? And he said, Dad, I'm going to get back within 5. I'm knocking a month off that. He said that. And he's worked his socks off every day. And people don't see he's worked a lot harder now than what he would when he was fit. He's absolutely 6 days a week. And Joe and the team and Lee, the physio, they've all been absolutely top class and helped us along the way. They've been there. Ray, like everybody, so supportive. and we've just got our head down and just done everything we can to get him back. So to see him come through that journey without any negativity has made us so proud as a family. And it's not the footballer. Look, we're proud that he's a footballer. We're proud, even more proud that he plays for our club, which we, in our minds, the biggest club in the world, the best fans in the world. But it's the man he's becoming. It just makes us so proud, honestly. And he's such a humble boy. It's just, it's emotional, mate. It's like...
I love that. I mean, I love the fact that I watched an interview with him from 5 months ago before the season the other day. It was a New Balance thing.
Yeah.
And he always talked. And then yesterday, he does exactly the same thing in his interview after the game. He talks about his family and how much he appreciates the support and love that he gets from his family. I mean, for me, that's fantastic as a father. That's fantastic. And, he's I think I've heard you say before, I'm very proud of him as a footballer, but I'm more proud of him as a human being, as a man. And I think that's testament to you and Jay, obviously, to the way you've brought him up and the job you've done as parents. But, there's not really a question. I just wanted to say that, really, to be honest with you. Did you hear them, the cop chanting his name?
I did a little bit. It was sort of Robbo's song, wasn't it? I did. Yeah. It was a bit, I've got to be honest, in the next 5 sort of minutes I was just probably wiping the tears away. I was so emotional. Yeah, it was like unbelievable, and everything was a bit of a blur. But I mean, look, I've said to him this, like he would like nothing more than a song from the Cop, but he's got around that. No, he hasn't. He's got to earn it. You're not given it, right? You've got to earn it. But if anyone does a song from the Cop, favourite song of all time, Fernando Torres. Right? You know that when you're on the Cop, bounce in a minute, we're going to bounce. Yeah. So if anyone's out there and they think of a song, please refer it to Fernando's song, because it was our favourite ever. And it was just a big build-up and then bang, bang.
There's an exclusive. Let's see. We'll have to see if anyone comes up with that. I was wondering whether they might rehash the Genie Wijnaldum song, because that would work with Harvey's name and the amount of syllables in his name. Yeah. So we'll have a little look at the Torres one. I'll see what I can do. I'll get my guitar out, Scott.
Yeah, that's the one, right? Because that is unbelievable. Just
let's have a chat about Thiago's return.
Yep.
He's wonderful, isn't he? What a footballer. Do you think that his introduction and him into the running for the rest of the season is a crucial thing for our squad?
Yeah, look, it's going to help. He's a world-class player. But now you're looking at it and you're going, do you know what? We've got options, right? So it's not for every game. There's options in there. There's world-class players right across. You look at Millie. I think Millie's 36, isn't he? He's still absolutely tops for us. I mean, what a signing. Hendo, you've got Curtis coming through, Harvey, Thiago, Fab to come back. You've got Alex. You've got so many options in that midfield, the same as the attack. And probably really now the same at the back.
Yeah.
And goalkeeper. So, when everyone's fully fit, it's a hard selection, right? Really. You could choose any one of the top 5 now if you count Diaz in there. You could play any 3.
And we've got a lot of games coming up, haven't we?
Well, I think there's 6 games. I think till the end of the month. Well, I think it's the end of the month now. We've got the cup final on 27th and then Norwich in the cup on the 2nd. So that's the biggest gap we've got. Between now and then. It's every 3 or 4 days there's games. So we are going to need everyone. So Thiago coming back, he's a wonderful talent. I love watching him. I love the way he moves the ball effortless and stuff like that. But there's games where you don't need to push him and you can maybe bring someone else in to do just as good a job. But for me, again, it's one of them where you get the opportunity, you've got to take it. But you've got every game, every training session, you've got to show Jurgen and you've got to say to Jurgen, drop me if you can.
Yeah.
So it gives everyone that fight. You know, don't take for granted. There's no guarantees in football.
Mm.
You have to work harder than the next player, don't you?
Of course. Just to sum up the game, what were your feelings after the game? Obviously, we won, and you're a Liverpool fan, but I mean, it mixed in with all those emotions from Harvey coming on and scoring. How did you feel? Was it? I bet you it was chaos in the. Did you go into the director's room or whatever after the game?
We went into the players' lounge, right? Yeah. And I mean, after the game, there was a little moment where there was a relief that he had got through 40 minutes. So I just wanted to speak to him and see how he was feeling.
Did you ask him about that challenge, by the way?
Yeah, no, just mentioned it, and he was like, in football, things are a blur, right? You don't think about a challenge, you don't think about goals. A lot of it is instinctive. It just happens naturally, doesn't it, without thinking? And the challenge is one of them challenges, but I'm sort of glad he had it. Jay was a bit like, ooh, and I was like, he needs that, because you get one of them, and you see him bounce up and go again. You go, that's it. Don't even think about it. You don't even think about it. You just go, right, let's play. Let's get the ball down and play. So, like I say, my biggest concern is making sure that he, I always keep on it. You could have done this better. You could have done that better. You need to work harder. Even if he's worked his socks off like against Chelsea and Burnley.
Did you praise him for chasing the goalie down, by the way? Because they gave the ball away. Did you see that one where it was almost like an Andy Robertson one, where Andy Robertson ran half the length of the pitch to chase them down. He did one of them, and the goalie pumped it, and we won the ball back. And I thought, fucking brilliant, absolutely brilliant work in there.
It doesn't need praise for that. That's a given. That should come as a given. There's no praise needed for that. That's your job, mate. Go and work hard, because you're a Liverpool fan in that stadium. The minimum you require is your players to work hard, right? Nothing else is acceptable. You give 110%, and that's it. You can have a bad day, that's fine. But if you work your socks off, you're accepted. If you're lazy, that's unacceptable. And I won't tolerate that.
So was there a certain amount of, like you said, you felt quite tired after the game? Was there an exhaustion between you and Jay, your wife?
Yeah, we were all. Do you know what? We got back in the lounge, and it was quite emotional actually, because they had the TV on and they were talking about the game, and saw Jurgen's interview and Harvey's interview, and it's so humbling, honestly. And they showed Harvey's go on his interview, and everyone in the lounge started clapping. And it was like, oh God, don't start again. Don't give me the tissue. Don't start again. It was, honestly, it's so humbling. It just makes you feel like, it's amazing feeling. Everyone was so kind and that. And then, just waited for Harvey to come in, just had the biggest cuddle, and that was it. It was amazing.
Brilliant. Well, listen, thanks for jumping on this morning, mate. I really appreciate it. I know you're busy, and it was a difficult thing, but so I appreciate you coming on and giving us how you felt and everything. It's quite a personal thing, so thanks for that. If you're watching this, just don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the like button, and we'll see you again on another one. Thanks very much for watching. Scott, thanks. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Gav. Bye-bye.